It's a pleasure. I am Lady Caroline Wright. We've been so eager to meet you, the newcomer. You look so lovely this evening. Thank goodness you're here. You'll certainly brighten the place up a little. Oh, of course, I'll have John take your coat. John, could you? Now, come on in. I know that you must be a little nervous, but you needn't be. I must insist that you join the party. And that's why you're here, isn't it? Just remember that no matter what, you are one of us now. You're going to be fine. Tonight is your debut. And I know that you're going to make a lasting impression. Do you know anyone here? No. Then get to know them. The elite of New York society is here to meet you. Now, before we go ahead and meet everyone, would you like a drink? It may help to calm your nerves. Mary, could you fetch us 2 glasses of the finest port, please? And have you met Miss Marion yet? Miss Marion Brooke? Oh, I simply must arrange that for you. Thank you, Mary. Here you go. She is your age, and much in the same predicament as you. You see, she came to New York but a few months ago to live with her aunts, Agnes, Mrs. Van Ryn, and Ada Brooke. They may be here soon indeed. I believe you will get on quite well with Miss Marion. She is a sweet young girl, and very driven. Indeed, New York is full of women with strong wills, and let's keep it that way. Tell me, how are you enjoying New York so far? Good. And your uncle and his wife? I trust you're getting along. That is good to hear. Yes, all of this must be quite the change from what you're used to, I imagine. Yes, I am well aware of your family and that they've been a part of this group for decades. Your great-grandmother was a Ludwig, of course, of Ludwig Manor. They came to this city in 1674. You belong to old New York, my dear, and don't let anyone tell you differently. I know it might seem strange, might feel strange right now, but it is true. That may be, my dear, but you must understand, there are those among the guests here tonight that are wary of newcomers. Naturally, society is a delicate web of alliances and secrets. Miss, if I may be frank, it is a beast with a taste for scandal. Play your cards right, and you might just survive the night. Darling, in this city, influence is everything. If you want to thrive, there are a few key figures you must impress. Firstly, there is Mrs. Astor, the undisputed queen of high society. We cannot succeed in this town without Mrs. Astor's approval. Gain her favor, and doors will open for you. Then there is Mr. Ward McAllister, a man of wealth and connections. If you secure his approval, you will find yourself on the inner circle. But, my dear, there is one crucial detail that you must understand. Mrs. Astor and Mr. McAllister, everyone here, in fact, tonight, they have a particular disdain for the new crowd. No doubt your uncle has spoken to you about it. Could I see your beautiful brooch? Oh, isn't it wonderful? Oh my goodness. It was your mother's. Oh, it's so precious. Gorgeous detail. Do you like mine? Yes, it was given to me by my grandmother. She did love it so. And now I shall look after it for her. But yes, the new ones. Those who have earned their wealth rather than inheriting it. Old money. Those of our crowd look down upon the newly rich. The old ones believe wealth should be inherited, passed down through generations. The self-made individuals, the new ones who have earned their fortunes, are often met with much skepticism. We only receive the old people here, not the new. Never the new. The old have been in charge since before the revolution. They ruled justly until the new people came along. My dear, you're stating facts. Yes, I don't concern myself with facts. if they interfere with my beliefs. Here you go. Thank you. And I must say, I envy your fan. I wish I had one quite so lovely, so I could cover my face and look fascinating behind all of those feathers. May I see? Oh my goodness. It is so beautiful. Wherever did you get it? May I? How wonderful. On you too, of course. You do look a little flushed, dear. Remind me, how is your cousin getting along with your new neighbors? Oh, they've taken against him. Really? Well, it's surprising, quite astonishing really, that it took so long. I thought it would happen much sooner. He can be so abrupt. There, now how's that? Oh no. Mrs. Chamberlain's arrived. Why don't we all just go outside and roll in the gutter? Are you cold, dear? Why, you're shaking like a leaf. Here. Take this. My foulard. There. We cannot have you catching a cold on your first night out, now can we? There now, how's that? You're very welcome. This is so divine. I simply must have one for myself. Oh no. And now the Russells are here. Yes, the new ones. I was wondering when they might show. Mr. and Mrs. Russell, yes. A rather ambitious couple, indeed. He made his fortune through his success in the railroad industry. And they set their sights on climbing the social ladder. Indeed, they're new to New York, and so far they've made quite an impression. Hosted grand soirees that nobody attended, of course. Donated generously to the right causes. Various charities of Mrs. Vane's, flashing their money as though it gives them such power. Old members scoff at the ostentatious displays of wealth. Of course, it doesn't gain them any power. Well, not at first. But over time, You know as well as I do that she isn't one of us. I heard that her butler used to work for Mrs. Griswold on 50th. That's why she hired him. To teach her the ways of the old people. But Mrs. Griswold wouldn't have dreamt of going within 10 miles of that house. No, rumor has it that Mrs. Russell hosted a ball that put even Mrs. Astor's affair to shame. Lavish beyond belief. The old guard couldn't stand it. Here you go. Thank you so much. That is just divine. I simply must have one for myself. Would you like to go shopping soon? Perhaps Friday? Let's arrange it. You seem to have impeccable taste. Yes, I should like that very much. Are you enjoying your port? Very good. Mary, could we have some more port, please? Yes, the Russells are quite the talk of the town these days. Did you hear about Mrs. Russell being invited to a luncheon with Mr. Ward McAllister? Yes. Well, he's sort of a henchman to Mrs. Astor. He helps her in her work of shaping society. He is essentially like Severus, snarling and growling to protect his mystic rose, as he likes to call her. She uses him to filter the new arrivals. So, Mr. McAllister's opinion is very important. I don't know how she secured the luncheon, but she did. She seems quite cunning indeed. Oh, they keep trying indeed. They are persistent. I will allow them that. Especially after so many have failed before them. Have you heard of the stories? My dear, let me regale you with the tales of those who tried to infiltrate our esteemed circles. There was the Carter family, of course, fresh from their success in the pharmaceutical industry. They hosted grand parties, bought up estates, but alas, they failed to win the approval of Mrs. Astor. The whispers of their excesses reached her ears, and they were cast aside like dirt on her shoe. Then there was young Robert Thornton, a self-made millionaire. He tried to woo Mrs. Astor's daughter, thinking it would secure his place in society. The fool. Did it work? Oh no, of course not. She would never entertain advances from someone she may not consider suitable. And he was no suitor. No, my dear, she saw through his intentions. She sent her daughter abroad, and Thornton was left with nothing but a tarnished reputation. Serves him right. Yes, you're quite right. She does allow new people in. She has to. Or they'll forge an alternative society and keep her and the old crowd out. Won't they anyway? Well, yes, probably, but not in her lifetime. Things are changing, but just not fast enough for some people. Speaking of suitors, Mr. Edwards has arrived. I shall be thrilled to introduce you. An artist, painter, immensely talented and passionate. Why, I imagine it won't be long before he asks to paint your portrait. Perhaps even before the night is through. Do you like to dance, miss? I can just see you now, under the starlit chandeliers, in the ballroom, shining like a diamond, shimmering among the crowd. We'll go in soon, don't you worry. Yes, this grand ball will be like no other you've ever been to. Oh heavens, now Mrs. Wentworth is here too. Who is letting these people in? I am struggling to hold back the tide of vulgarians that threatens to engulf us. I simply must go and rectify this before the ball is in squalor. I shan't be long, my dear. And then, of course, I will introduce you to our more esteemed guests. How does one navigate this intricate world, you ask? Oh, nonsense. You will be mingling with the elite in no time at all. There is no challenge that you are not equal to, after all. Simply listen, observe, and never reveal too much too soon. Persistence is the key to everything. Patience and persistence. The dance of society is as delicate as the waltz we will be performing soon. Now, please allow me to attend to this issue, and then shall we tidy ourselves before meeting everyone, then dance the evening away under the grand chandelier. I can hardly wait.